Welcome back to Tethered and Whole, the podcast where we explore what it takes to remain grounded, resilient, and remain fully human in education. I'm your host, Matthew Weld. Today, I want to talk about 3 emotions that sneak into every teacher's life: shame, defensiveness, and guilt. We all know the sting of being corrected, criticized, or caught in a mistake. And it's in those moments that our emotions flare, sometimes in ways that even surprise us. And instead of calmly reflecting, we may shrink into shame or lash out into defensiveness or even carry the weight of guilt. These reactions are deeply human, but if left unchecked, they can cloud our judgment, strain relationships, and actually eventually block growth. For example, recently I was invited to contribute to a new educational framework. For me, this was a huge deal. Like, I had always worked alone. And so suddenly my writing was going to be critiqued by colleagues with far more experience. I had imposter syndrome to the nth degree. And I leaned on AI for our first draft of my portion. Maybe you can already see where this is going. When we met to review my section, the other people politely noted that I'd relied too much on application and not enough on theory. And they also said that my writing lacked diverse perspectives. That was the voice of AI, not my intention. And in that moment, I felt the rush of all 3. Shame for not doing better, guilt for leaning on AI without knowing that much about it, and defensiveness, as in, like, who are they to attack my work? And that's when I realized how tangled these 3 emotions can be and how important it is to tease them apart. Brené Brown draws clear lines between them. Shame is the belief that we are flawed and unworthy of connection. It attacks the identity. I am bad. And it thrives on fear of disconnection. Defensiveness is shame's bodyguard. When shame shows up, defensiveness throws up walls of blame, excuses, or even withdrawal to protect us. Guilt, on the other hand, is a little bit different. It says, I did something wrong, as opposed to I am wrong. Guilt is tied to action, not identity. And because of that, guilt can be useful. It can nudge us toward responsibility and toward that repair that is necessary when we're trying to recover from doing harm. And so let's explore each one of these 3 things. First of all, shame is universal. Unlike guilt, it isn't about what we did, but who we are. It whispers inadequacy. You are not enough. Shame thrives in secrecy and in the dark. It can drive us to isolate, numb ourselves, or avoid risks that might actually help us to grow. Social media intensifies this by magnifying curated perfection that fuels comparison. The antidote? Speak shame out loud. Connect with safe people. Practice self-compassion and remind yourself, this setback, it does not define me. Defensiveness often shows up in our words. You never listen. Well, if you weren't so naggy, maybe I would. Defensiveness often shows up as excuses, counterattacks, sarcasm, dismissive sighs. Body language speaks too. Crossed arms, brows furrowed, voice raised, eyes rolled. Defensiveness stems from fear of judgment. Let me say that again. Defensiveness stems from fear of judgment, but it comes at a cost. An erosion of trust, stalling of conversations, and a weakening of relationships. And breaking free takes awareness. Pause. Notice when you're triggered. Practice listening, not rebutting, and use I statements. I'm feeling that you're not hearing me right now, or even I'm feeling defensive. And over time, these moves build trust and allow connection. Guilt, unlike shame, can be healthy. It alerts us when our actions misalign with our values, and it motivates us to work toward repair. Healthy guilt says, I made a mistake. I'll make it right. Unhealthy guilt festers. It paralyzes and it corrodes. But there's also then a thin, easily crossed line between guilt and shame. Often dwelling on past actions where you felt guilt turn that same incident into one of shame. And so, friends, it's helpful to leave the past in the past. Now, another key thing is to make sure that you act on your guilt. Apologize, repair harm, learn, move forward. That way, guilt becomes not a weight, but a teacher. Together, shame, defensiveness, and guilt shape how we handle feedback and how we handle failure. Shame tears at our worth. Defensiveness builds walls. Guilt opens the door to repair. So, the next time someone corrects you, or it feels like they're attacking, pause. Take a breath. Instead of snapping back, lean into curiosity and try saying something like, it's interesting you say that. Or maybe, can you tell me more? I want to understand. Notice the difference? Curiosity diffuses the tension. But here, again, as I've said before, words matter. Curiosity isn't just asking a question because while, why do you feel this way? Can sound accusatory and can escalate a situation. What makes you feel that way? It says the same thing, it asks the same question, but it lands differently because words matter, nuance matters, and most of all, tone of voice matters a lot. Now, as educators, we live in a world of constant feedback. How we respond matters, not just for our own growth, but for the health of our relationships and in our classrooms. And so this week, friends, pay attention. Am I slipping into shame? Am I building walls of defensiveness? Or can I harness guilt for growth? And by untangling these emotions, we can replace fear with learning. We can replace walls with bridges. And by doing this, we stay tethered and whole, even in the discomfort of correction. Thanks for listening. If this episode resonated, share it with a colleague who might need a reminder that mistakes don't define them. They refine them. Until next time, stay tethered, stay whole.